invitation to gather. Find a beautiful piece of art.
If you fall in love with Van Gogh or Matisse or John Achilles.
Or if you fall in love with the music of Coltrane, the music of Aretha Franklin, or the music of Chopin.
Find some beautiful art and admire it.
And realize that that was created by human beings just like us. No more human, no more less.
Beautiful art leads us beyond ourselves to discover that divine creative art that was at our core all along.
In this hour of worship,
let us remind one another of all the beauty we are capable of creating.
Dear Lord, New Orleans is a many-colored city. Black, white, Creole, Cajun, French, rich, poor, all live together, all pray together, and they celebrate together with an explosion of music. As we take our sanctuary south this morning, may we be in touch with the joy of it all. Remind us of the polyglot of your humanity. Often we forget to remember that not everyone worships the way we do. We forget the pleasure, like sorrow, comes in many varieties. I'm reminded of a recurring message this Black History Month, the message of Black joy. It means finding the laughter, the deep down goodness that can be found even in the darkest situations. As we worship today, remind us of the laughter deep within each of us. As the music touches that place, let us open to it. Let us seek our own joy on the other side of all that presses down on us. As we share in the joy of polyglot New Orleans, may our faces shine like the face of God. Please join me in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven,
Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our sins, as we forgive those who sin against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever.
Amen.
Good morning. Welcome to New England Congregational Church on this Fat Sunday celebration. A very special welcome to those who are guests with us. Please note your attendance in the friendship register before passing it to your neighbor. We welcome you all to join us after worship upstairs in Friendship Hall for our Chocolate Festival. I'm particularly excited because this will be my very first chocolate festival, so we're going to see what it's all about. We're pleased to welcome back this morning's guest musicians, John Papadolius on guitar, Chad Watson on bass, Steve Gogol on sax, and Heather Azum on vocals. We're fortunate to have them with us again this year for our Fat Sunday celebration. Welcome. And a special thank you to all those who are involved in this morning's service and the chocolate festival that follows. Please take a moment to read through the announcements in your bulletin. Of special note, this Wednesday we invite you back to New England Congregational Church as we begin the season of Lent together with our service of ashes right here in the sanctuary. The service will feature rich and meaningful liturgy, special music from our chancel choir, a brief meditation, and the imposition of ashes. This service is intended for people of all ages and will last no more than 30 minutes. We hope you'll join us. Books of Note will meet this coming Tuesday at 7 p.m. via Zoom to discuss The Library Book by Susan Orleans. Contact Sue Reimer if you're interested in participating, and she will send you the link. And beginning Wednesday, March 1st at 5:30 p.m., you're invited to join us for our adult Lenten study, Back to the Basics. We'll meet weekly through April 6th with dinner at 5:30 and the study from 6 to 7 p.m. There is no cost to participate, so please sign up in the office or online to participate. Finally, memorial services for longtime members Barb and John Williams will take place this coming Saturday, February 25th, here in the sanctuary at 10 a.m., and you are invited to participate. And now remember that no matter who you are, or where you are on your journey of life and faith, you are very welcome in this place. We invite you to greet your neighbors as our children come forward. Really cool. That's great. Good morning.
Good morning.
It is great to see you, and I'm especially excited to see a young man in a necktie, and it just so happens to be a Star Wars necktie. I love Star Wars. Good choice. It is good to be back with you today. And your baby brother, which is wonderful to have both of you here today. Today is a special day at New England Church, isn't it? What is special about today? Mardi Gras?
It's the chocolate.
The Chocolate Festival! Balloons! What else? Do you notice anything else? What about the folks up here? We have special music. Yeah? Do you guys notice anything different about the communion table back in the back? Maybe a new color?
Flowers.
And flowers, which are always beautiful. That's right. We are having a party. Everyone is wearing necklaces. That's right. Good observation. Yes, we are having a party at New England Church. How many of you like parties? You do. Let's ask them. How many of you like parties? Yay! That's most of us. I like parties too. We have all the trappings. Fun music, cool decorations, great food, and the very best party guests. Oh, that's a very cool pouch. Yes, if you were planning a party for yourselves, what kinds of people would you invite? Who would you invite to a party? Kind people. I like that.
Friends and family.
Friends and family. Musicians. Anybody else?
And my friend.
Your friend? Nice. Yeah, those are exactly the kinds of people that we would invite. We might even invite our neighbors. We might even be all kinds of wild and invite a favorite teacher. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. It's always fun to celebrate with people that we like, isn't it? And that's what I love about parties at New England Church. We actually like each other, right? That's really great. Today, as you're listening to this great music, as you're looking at the cool decorations, as you're imagining how wonderful it's going to be to dip that first treat into that chocolatey fountain upstairs, take a look around and remember that you're surrounded by people that you like, and people who like and even love you and care about you. Those are weights. They keep the balloons from going all the way up there. So remember that you are surrounded by people who love and care about you. One of the best things about being the church is the people we get to be it with. I'm going to invite us to pray together. Dear God, we're grateful for music and parties and this amazing group of people that loves and cares about us. Help us remember that church is a place where we are loved and a group of people that loves others. Amen. Thank you all for being here. You can go back to your seats, and it won't be too long before we get to the chocolate. Let us be together in a spirit of prayer. God, like Peter, James, and John, we find ourselves longing to preserve the moments of awe-filled discovery and wondering where we might catch another glimpse of heaven's light in the more mundane, even shadowy times of our daily experiences. May we remember that heaven's light is with us and within us, on the mountaintops as well as in the valleys, shining wisdom and hope and peace to light our way. May that light burn brightly, especially for those who are themselves amidst the shadows, those struggling with illness of body, mind, or spirit, those experiencing hunger or homelessness, those caught up in violent conflict in their homes or in their communities, those grieving the loss of loved ones, those affected by the massive earthquake in Turkey and Syria and all those aiding them, those affected by Monday's shooting at Michigan State, those affected by the ongoing violence in Ukraine. May heaven's light burn brightly in us and in our world. May we be lights too, shining as Jesus did on that mountaintop, the subjects of divine love and affirmation. May we see light in all others and share our light with boldness in word and in deed until all the world is basking in its warmth and glow. Amen. Hear now a reading from the Gospel according to Matthew, the 17th chapter. 6 days later, Jesus took with him Peter and James and his brother John and led them up a high mountain by themselves. And he was transfigured before them, and his face shone like the sun, and his clothes became dazzling white. Suddenly there appeared to them Moses and Elijah talking with him. Then Peter said to Jesus, "Lord, It is good for us to be here. If you wish, I will make 3 dwellings here, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." While he was still speaking, suddenly a bright cloud overshadowed them, and from the cloud a voice said, "This is my Son, the beloved. With him I am well pleased. Listen to him." When the disciples heard this, they fell to the ground and were overcome by fear. But Jesus came and touched them, saying, "Get up and do not be afraid." And when they looked up, they saw no one except Jesus himself alone. As they were coming down the mountain, Jesus ordered them, "Tell no one about the vision until after the Son of Man has been raised from the dead." Here ends the reading. I have to admit that after returning to our home in the wee hours of Saturday morning, after 10 days in Hawaii and Los Angeles, I was afraid I might have a bit of a sun-induced shine of my own. Since, as some of you have noted, my pasty whiteness is perfectly preserved, it might be easy to assume that I spent those vacation days indoors. That, however, is untrue. I recently discovered the power of a good sunscreen, and it's a game changer. 75 degrees and sunshine never felt so good. But it is good to be home, to be back with you on this last Sunday in the season of Epiphany. The season that started when wise ones from the east visited the child Jesus bringing gold and frankincense and myrrh. A season that continued with the baptism of Jesus in the Jordan River, a spirit dove, and a voice from heaven. A season that saw a small-town carpenter break onto the scene as an authoritative rabbi. A season that saw fishermen lay down their nets and follow a new teacher as disciples. A season that saw great crowds of ordinary people follow this new teacher up a hill and listen to one of the most important and earth-changing sermons ever preached. Appropriate it is, I think, that the same season that began bathed in the light of a Christmas star comes to a close now, basking in yet another kind of light. The author of Matthew's Gospel tells us that Jesus took 3 companions and went up a mountain where he was transfigured, his face shining and his clothes dazzling white. Then Moses, the great giver of law, leader of the Exodus, and as Reverend Dr. Martin Forward pointed out last week, the authoritative religious figure of the past. And Elijah, the great prophet, wonder worker, and conscience of a nation, appeared and talked to Jesus on the mountain. In a stupor, Peter suggested setting up camp. But as soon as the words were out of his mouth, Moses and Elijah vanished, the light subsided, and the 3 companions were alone with Jesus as before. As they were coming down the mountain, Jesus finally broke the awe-filled silence. "Tell no one," he said. Again, as Martin urged last week, when Jesus speaks, it's best to listen. We can only assume that the disciples held their tongues about the bizarre mountaintop experience until after Jesus' death and resurrection. How difficult that must have been. I think it's worth noting that this is the second of just 2 times in Matthew's Gospel that God actually speaks to Jesus. The first is at his baptism. I mention this because if you are like me, you think that a word from God once in a while would be awfully nice. We all know people who seemingly hear God speaking all the time and on a vast array of topics, ranging from what things to purchase, to what vocation to pursue, to what people, politics, and pastimes are okay with God, and which ones aren't. If you're like me, this doesn't happen for you. At least not very often. And this story makes me feel better about that. During his entire lifetime, Jesus, the Gospels say, heard God speak just twice. But there's more to this story than what God says here, or what Jesus says afterward, or what the disciples don't seem to say at all. At its core, this story is a dramatic affirmation of the personhood of Jesus. As with all the stories of the New Testament and the Bible as a whole, I can't tell you that it literally happened. That Peter, James, and John physically climbed a mountain with Jesus, saw him lit up like a Christmas tree and talking to two guys who'd been dead for 2,000 years, and then heard the voice of God. I can't tell you that that literally happened any more than I can tell you that God literally created the earth in 6 days. But honestly, that is not the point of this story. The point is, however, that according to this author, Jesus is exactly who he says he is. A man on a mission to share a message about the inbreaking of heaven on earth. So listen to him. It's an appropriate message for today, I think, coming on the coattails of a season of demanding texts and sermons that challenge us to know what we're looking for in our church and to share it with others. To see the light and reorient, realign, and shine for all to see. To bless and be a blessing. To be salt and spice and light. To pay attention when Jesus speaks. It's as if the architects of our lectionary knew that about now we would be tiring of all these demands. And they placed this text here for us today, one final jolt to see us to the finish line before the pace changes entirely on Wednesday with the beginning of the Lenten season. This religion and this Jesus are pretty demanding, aren't they? But Jesus never claimed to be otherwise. In fact, he was pretty transparent from the very beginning. Following Jesus is about making the spiritual reality of the inbreaking of heaven on earth a physical reality. Right here, right now, for all. Jesus didn't talk a lot about what to believe, but he did talk a lot about what to do and how to live and love and serve. The invitation to us today isn't so different than the one Martin offered last week. The invitation is this: listen to him. Keep listening to him. Keep living like him. Keep being the church in this time and this place for the sake of our neighborhood and our city and our world. It won't be easy, has never been easy. But that's okay. We are companions on the journey. Light for one another. Strength and support for all that lies ahead. Thanks be to God for that. Amen.
sing? All right. As the disciples saw Jesus transfigured on the mountaintop, and they bore witness, we dedicate these gifts to bearing witness to the transfiguring power of the good news, of an earth made whole and all peoples made one. Amen.
Hold on, dear friends. As we go forth from this place, from this season of Epiphany of light and into the season of Lent, may God go with you, behind you to encourage you, above you to watch over you, beside you to befriend you, before you to prepare the way, and within you to give you peace. This day and all your days. Amen.